This is Fitness Blender's snowboard conditioning workout. In this workout routine, we're going to be doing 3 sets of 10 exercises, 2 exercises at a time. We're going to be doing anywhere from 12 to 20 repetitions. You won't need any exercise equipment except for an exercise mat and a chair or a bench. Let's go ahead and get started with our first group, the isolation jump squats and the Russian twist. We're going to be starting with the isolation jump squat. This exercise isolates 3 different heights of jump. Get ready. And begin. You're going to want to drop down into a nice deep squat, and then as you come up, you're going to do a very short range of motion jump as hard as you can, then right back down, then another jump that's just a little bit higher, and then on your third and final jump, you're going to jump as high as you possibly can. This exercise is meant to mimic the motion that your legs do when you're traveling over terrain that changes in height very rapidly. So keep that in mind while you're doing this exercise. This is your last one, and let it relax. All right, we're moving on to the Russian twist. This is the hardest version of this exercise without using extra weight like a dumbbell or medicine ball. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You want that back perfectly flat, rotating from left to right as far as you possibly can, but do not let that back round. You also want to concentrate on keeping those feet up off the ground. Those hip flexors and quadriceps are really going to have to do a lot more work to help you keep your balance on this one. Watch those arms. You want to make sure that they're staying directly in front of the center of your chest, and you're not swinging them side to side as you rotate to try to get a little extra range of motion. This is just as far as you can rotate your shoulders. You have just a few more repetitions to go. And this is your last one, and let it relax. All right, moving back to the isolation jump squat. Just doing the same motion over again. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, really try to isolate that small jump at the very bottom. Get as much height as you can without actually going to a full extension on those legs. That next jump's just a little bit taller, but with not a full extension. That last jump, full extension as hard as you possibly can. Just keep that motion going. We're almost done. And there's your last one right here. Go ahead and let it relax. All right, back to the Russian twist. I'll tell you how to modify this to make it easier or harder in just a second. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, nice flat back, arms straight out from that chest, about a 90-degree angle off that chest, feet up off the ground. Now if you want to make it easier, go ahead and let those feet touch the ground. It'll make it a little bit more stable. Your core won't have to work quite so hard. However, if you want to make it more difficult, the next time you want to use a dumbbell, hold it between your hands or a medicine ball. Keep it right in front of your chest, just like your hands are right now. And just same thing, alternating back and forth, as much of a twist as you possibly can. We're almost done. Just a few more repetitions. Last one. And let it relax. All right, back to that isolation jump squat. This is the last round. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. And remember, when you're doing this motion, you want to try to make that motion as choppy as possible. So after you jump, you actually want to pull your legs back up to help you get back down a little bit quicker. Just keep that motion under control. Really push it as hard as you can, especially on that last jump, trying to get as high as you can. Just keep that motion going under control. All right, we're almost done. Just a few more. It's your last one. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving on to that Russian twist again. This is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now make sure you're really focusing on that rotation as much as you can. Trying to rotate those shoulders as far as possible without letting those arms swing, without letting that lower back round. Really concentrate on keeping that back nice and flat. If you can control this motion really well, then go ahead and bump up to using a dumbbell, but only start with like a 2 or 3, and then you can always build up from there. Just a little bit of weight makes a big difference on this. We're almost done, just a few more repetitions. And one more on each side, and let it relax. Alright, that was the end of group number 1. We're on to group number 2 with the agility dots and tricep dips. Alright, with the agility dots, this first one here, you're actually going to want to imagine or actually physically tape a square on the ground. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're doing this in an X pattern, so you're going to start in the back corner, jump up diagonally to the front corner, then directly straight across, and then diagonally back again, and then straight across again to the starting corner. It's kind of a complicated motion, it sounds like, but just think of making an X pattern across those dots. Just keep that motion going. Nice, quick, choppy motions. Don't stop. Try to keep your balance. We're going to change directions here, and the easiest way to do that is just to move to the opposite corner and start that rotation over again. So jumping diagonally, sideways, diagonally back, and then sideways again. Just concentrate on that motion. Keep those feet moving. Try to keep your balance. If you want to make this exercise more difficult, you're going to switch to a single leg. That's going to double up the number of repetitions you're doing on this one, though. So it's going to be clockwise on your left leg, counterclockwise on your left leg, clockwise on your right leg, counterclockwise on your right. And that's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. All right, moving on to the tricep dips next. So you need either a chair or a bench for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Extend those legs out nice and straight. Those hands are going to be turned so those fingers are facing back towards your hips. Drop down as low as is comfortable. You want to get those triceps, that upper arm, just about parallel with the ground. Don't go much lower than that. Then press right back up. Now you want to try to keep that back, that lower back especially, as close to the edge of that chair or bench as you can, so you don't actually start edging those hips out away from that chair. We're almost done. This is your last repetition right here, and let it relax. All right, we're moving back to those agility dots. Remember, both feet together. Imagine that square. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those feet moving pretty quick. If you need to, you can pause and regain your balance each time, but if you can, move as quickly as you can through this. No pausing. You want to, as soon as you touch the ground, you want to get right back off those feet again, moving to that next dot. Just keep that motion going, under control, nice and smooth. All right, go ahead and let it relax right there. We're going to change directions, so move to the opposite corner of that square and start again. All right, we're almost done. And let it relax right there. All right, moving back to the tricep dip. Go ahead and get ready. Kick those legs out and begin. Now remember, you're looking for a nice deep range of motion, so go as far as you can, but make sure you don't go too far. You let those shoulders drop much below those elbows and you're going to run the risk of actually injuring that shoulder. So you want to stop with those upper arms just about parallel to the ground. Just keep that motion going. Remember to try to keep those hips and that back as close to the edge of that bench as you can. And just keep that motion going nice and smooth under control. Just have a few more. And here's your last one. And let it relax. All right, we're back around to those agility dots again. This is your last round of these guys. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, keep those feet moving nice and fast. Try not to pause hardly at all. Remember to keep those feet straight forward the entire time, those hips straight forward the entire time. Don't start jumping diagonally so your feet are facing off to the left or to the right. Just keep that motion going. We're going to go ahead and change directions here. Go ahead and swap those corners and start again. Just keep that motion under control. Keep it moving fast. And we're almost done. This is your last round. And let it relax. Alright, back over to that tricep dip. This is your last round of this one. And go ahead and get ready. And begin. Drop nice and low. Just make sure that shoulder doesn't come too low below that elbow. Just keep that motion going, nice and slow, under control. Nice full range of motion. Trying to keep that back up against that chair or that bench as close as you can. Almost done. It's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. And that's the end of group number 2. We're moving on to group number 3. You can pause it here if you need to. Otherwise, we're moving right on to the single leg lateral hops. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. This is just a jump left to right as far as you can with just one leg. Remember, try to keep your hips facing forward. Try to keep your toe facing forward as much as you can. And focus on trying to get as much range of motion left to right as possible. You're really trying to work on getting as much distance as you can. Alright, we're going to switch legs here in just a second. And let it relax. Go ahead and swap those feet out. And begin again. Same motion, trying to get as wide of a jump as you possibly can. Now you may need to start with a little bit narrower jump to begin with until you see how those knees and ankles are going to withstand this kind of motion. So don't worry about jumping right into a really, really broad jump. And that's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. Now we're moving into the half squat with a calf raise. And go ahead and get ready. And begin. So it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to squat down about halfway, not a full squat, but just a half squat. And then you're going to come up onto those toes like you're doing a calf raise. Now this works that balance quite a bit because you have nowhere to actually support yourself other than working those toes. So the time you can actually keep those heels off the ground might be pretty small when you first start doing this, but start trying to increase that time and try to move that heel up and back down as smoothly as possible. Now notice that those knees are going to be over those toes just a little bit, and that's just because you're having to shift your weight forward as you come up on those toes. So your last one right here, go ahead and let it relax. Alright, and moving back to those single leg lateral hops. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, just keep that motion as wide as you possibly can. Trying to keep it under control as much as possible. If you need to, you can bounce and stop on that foot on each jump to help you keep your balance, and then jump again as far as you can. But if you can, try to move as quickly as possible. As soon as that foot touches, you're trying to get right back off of it again. Go ahead and switch sides. And begin again. Just keep that motion under control. And go ahead and let it relax. That's your last one right there. Back to the half squat with a calf raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, shift that weight forward onto those toes just a little bit, but don't let those knees push out too far. You're still trying to keep those back. Nice, slow, controlled motion, trying to push up on that toe and hold it as much as you can before you let it drop back down. Trying to push it up and let it drop in a nice, controlled motion. Just keep that motion going under control. Almost done. This is your last one right here. And let it relax. All right, back to that single leg lateral hop. This is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Just keep that motion going really quick. Trying to get as much range of motion as you can. And almost done with this one. That's your last one. Go ahead and switch those legs and start again. And almost done. And let it relax. There you go. On to that half squat with a calf raise again. This is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. And we're coming up onto those toes as high as you possibly can. Letting that heel down as slowly as possible. Really trying to keep that balance. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control. And we're almost done. This is your last one. And let that one relax. All right, that's the end of group number 3. Now let's move on to group number 4. It's a single leg ventral hops and the half squat toe raise this time. We're starting off with that ventral hop. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now, just like that lateral hop, you're trying to get as far as you can. This time you're moving forward and backward as much as possible as opposed to left and right. So just keep that motion going. Try to stay on the ball of that toe, moving as quickly as possible, trying to stay on that foot as little time as possible. And here's your last one. Go ahead and switch those legs and start again. Almost done. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. Moving to that half squat with the toe raise. So this is the opposite of a calf raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So back down in that squat this time. This time you're going to lean back on those heels and try to lift those toes as far off the ground each time as you possibly can. This one as well takes a lot of balance to make sure you're not tipping over backwards. And trying to keep those toes up off the ground as high as you can. Same thing, same idea. You want to lift those toes nice and smooth. Let them back down nice and smooth. We're almost done. Just a few more repetitions. And there's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. All right, back to that single leg ventral hop. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Just concentrate on getting as much range of motion as possible. Really jumping as hard as you possibly can. And we're almost done. That's your last one right there. Go ahead and switch those legs and start again. Almost done. And let it relax. All right, moving back to that half squat with the toe raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember that half squat, leaning back in that heel, trying to lift those toes as high as you can. Really work on that range of motion. Those shins should be burning by the time you're done with this one. And we're almost done. And let it relax. Alright, back to that single leg ventral hop. This is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Just focus on trying to get as much range of motion out of it as you can. Keep that motion nice and controlled. Try not to lose that balance. Try to keep as even as possible so you're staying in a nice straight line. Try not to wander around too much. Almost done. Go ahead and let it relax. Switch those legs. And begin again. And we're almost done with this side. And that's your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. And back to that half squat with a toe raise is your last round of this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Half squat down, weight back in those heels, raising those toes as high as you can. Really make those shins burn. Try to pause at the top of that range of motion as long as you can. Alright, we're almost done. And that's your last repetition right there. Go ahead and let it relax. Go ahead and pause it if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to start right in with group number 5 with jump turns and the plank to side star. First one is the jump turn. This one you're going to be doing a 180-degree jump. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So every time you jump, you want to land facing the opposite direction you started from. Try to get a nice deep squat each time. Nice full range of motion. Now if you need to make this a little bit easier, you can always do a quarter jump. So you're just doing a 90-degree angle instead of 180. So you're just jumping from left to right and back again. This is your last repetition right here. Go ahead and let it relax. Next one is the plank to side star. So you're going from a regular plank, then you're going to come up into a side star. So you're basically coming to a T stabilization with one leg up off the ground. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Now this one requires quite a bit of balance. So if you need to, you can leave that leg down on the ground and just bring that arm up. Or stack those feet. Otherwise, this full range of motion, trying to get that leg off the ground as well. This makes those core muscles and that balance really have to work hard. Just keep alternating back and forth from side to side. You want a nice short pause. Really let yourself kind of catch your balance. And really force yourself to control it while you're up on that side. Now make sure you keep this motion nice and slow under control. It'll really help you out as far as that balance goes. The faster you go, the harder it's going to be to keep that balance. So make sure you're keeping this motion slow. And we're almost done. One more on the other side. And let it relax. Alright, back to those jump turns. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, like I said, if you want these a little bit easier, you just do a quarter turn, so you're only going 90 degrees from left to right. Otherwise, do this full 180-degree turn. Or if you really want a challenge, you're going to do a full 360. So you want to jump and spin all the way around until you land facing the same direction you were. And this is your last repetition right here. Jump it back and let it relax. All right, back into that plank. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, keep that motion nice and slow. The slower it is, the easier it's going to be to control that motion. The easier it's going to be for that balance. You start moving too quickly and it's going to be really, really difficult to keep yourself stabilized. Take your time, hold that position once you get to that T stabilization or that star position. Just alternate sides. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Try to keep those lungs open, breathing normally. Just keep it going. This is your last one on this side. And go ahead and let it relax. Alright, moving on to those jump turns. This is your last round of these guys. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Remember, nice high jump, nice deep squat each time. Really try to get as much range of motion out of this as you can. Really make those legs work by getting really nice and low. Jumping as hard as you can straight up. Then go directly into that squat again. There's no rest. And this is your last one right here. Back around and let it relax. Alright, this is your last exercise of this whole routine. This is the plank to side star again. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Concentrate on that motion. Nice, slow, fluid motion. Keep those core muscles nice and tight. Breathing normally. Just keep that motion going. And we're almost done. Just have one more on the other side. Nice and slow. And let it relax. Good job, you just finished one of Fitness Blender's snowboard conditioning workouts. Like our free workout videos? Then help us out by telling a friend. And don't forget, go to fitnessblender.com for even more full-length workout videos and so much more.